Hello and welcome to Austin Real Estate Experts, where each week we discuss Austin's dynamic real estate market and showcase some of Austin's finest homes. Today we're at Lively Ranch, a beautiful D.R. Horton community in southwestern Georgetown. We're in an area that embodies what the Hill Country is all about.
It's gorgeous. It took me 3 minutes to drive here this morning.
So you had to get up at the crack of 10.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
Excellent. It's a wonderful setting. Glad to be here. Thank our sponsor, D.R. Horton. And Demetria, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
Gosh, Lively Ranch is amazing. What are some of the things that are drawing buyers to this area?
Well, there's several reasons why some of our homeowners are choosing Lively Ranch. It is a beautiful community, as you can see, in the Hill Country. We are nestled next to the San Gabriel River on the Ronald Reagan corridor, which everybody knows is a very popular area to be in these
That's
days.
True.
We have a great brand new HEB that just opened up down the street from us.
Great.
And we're in the Liberty Hill School District, which is, a very exceptional school district.
Absolutely. Love me some HEB,
Yeah.
HEB Plus. I saw that going up and it looked like a mall. I mean,
Yes,
it's just
it's
enormous.
very nice, yeah.
Yeah,
No,
what a convenience.
Can't say enough. I've lived in this area for 16 years, and I've been waiting for that HEB for 16 years.
I have to say, it has taken them quite some time to get that HEB in place, but it is here now,
That's
and it is
right.
open, and everybody's very thrilled.
So
very,
being-
very thrilled.
Once HEB gets in a community like that, it just changes everything.
That's
doesn't it?
right.
It's like
does.
That's right.
Because then come liquor stores right next door, and
Yes.
then come
fixes
Yeah.
a lot of things when that happens.
That's right.
Greg, what have you liked living in this sector of town?
Well, it's changed a lot since I first moved out here. It was really country when I first moved here 16 years ago, and there were no high density production builders or neighborhoods or planned communities with amenities, and that's something I've seen change a lot. But you still sort of get that, and it's kind of, I almost feel silly saying it because I know there's a lot of people moving out here, but you still get that small town vibe in a lot of
Yes, you
ways.
do.
You've got now the amenities that mean a lot. It's quick to get into town with Ronald Reagan
Yes.
and with the 183A, fully intact.
And coming all the way up to 21.
That's right. Yeah, as a matter of fact, Demetria, I've had a child in the school systems in Liberty Hill since, she started there and she's about to start high school now. And there was a point in time about 6 or 7 years ago that we thought about moving to a different part of town. And I actually bought a lot out on Lake Travis that we were going to build on. And I ended up selling it because we decided to stay because we like the schools as much as we do. I could go on and on about the schools. I've had 0 bad experiences for the last 8 years.
Yes.
So yeah, it's fantastic.
Good school district.
Yeah.
It's amazing what infrastructure does. And the extension of 183A, the creation of 183A and now the planned extension all the way up to 29 has been a game changer for the area.
Oh, for sure.
It's really brought down the commute times and made the area so much more accessible, such that I think in the past people that might have not considered Liberty Hill ISD or southwestern Georgetown as being commutable have reconsidered. It's just made it so much easier.
I have a little anecdotal story with regard to that I tell every once in a while. Some of you know when I first moved to Austin, I moved here to go to work for the police department. And, we worked downtown. And a very good friend of mine whose home I just sold last month in Liberty Hill was a classmate of mine in the police academy. And he bought that land and built that house when we first started the academy 25 years ago. And I remember the day he told me he bought a house in Liberty Hill, or a lot in Liberty Hill. I looked at him and said, "Are you crazy?" His wife worked at Brackenridge, and we were working downtown. And I said, "That's going to take you like an hour and 15 minutes, hour and a half to get to every day." And then, 8 years later, I'm buying an acre in Liberty Hill. And today, I'm thinking about that. Back then, there was no 183A, there was no Ronald Reagan. It was literally, you go through 10 lights in Cedar Park or 10 lights in Leander, and it would take you forever.
It
Now,
would take you a while.
now it's completely different. This is really not even out anymore.
Certainly, y'all have seen significant demand in here, and I look for that to continue with the 2 different series of homes that you offer.
Yes.
Really highly affordable living, relatively, as it is in today's market. Of course, John, interest rates are higher than they've been in the past, but we certainly still have demand. What are some of the ways that home buyers are looking to creatively still afford their homes when the market moves a little bit?
Well, I think there's a few ways. The first is our conforming loan limit has increased the last few years pretty aggressively. There are some parts of the country that have high balance loans, even Tennessee and Nashville, California, some higher home price areas. I expect in the near future we may see that. And so what that means is as that conforming loan limit increases, it will...
Define conforming loan, if you would.
Yeah, so a conforming loan is a conventional Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac loan that once the loan is closed and funded, Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac purchases. Okay. The lender may retain the servicing, but Fannie Mae is going to buy the loan or Freddie Mac's going to buy the loan. So right now, as of this show, it's $647,200. And so if you have a loan over 647, like 201, that's considered a jumbo. And so really to your question, what we're seeing is those jumbo loans, the adjustable interest rate loans are very aggressive. So you might see 1% lower on an ARM, which it could still be fixed for 7 or 10 years. I mean, it doesn't have to be a 1 or 2 year ARM. You may get 10 years with a fixed interest rate, then that rate can adjust. Well, for the first 10 years, if you've got a 1% lower rate than the market rate, that's really a lot of savings.
Or if
it
you're
just
not
makes
planning on staying for more than 10 years, right?
And I think the average home buyer, right, sells within 7-8 years, the statistics. So someone have a loan for more than 10 years, the same loan for more than 10 years is pretty rare. And so right now, those conforming loans, the lower the loan amount, the fixed rates are more aggressive. The adjustable rates really aren't a competitive option. But the larger loan sizes, and we're seeing a lot of higher price homes, those adjustable rates are really make the home more affordable potentially.
That's amazing. It really is, especially since you can stretch it out to 10 years.
That's right.
Well, with an average home price in the 680s, and I'd have to see where the median is, but it's certainly not far from that. Then half of the homes are being sold above that conforming loan amount. So a lot of these borrowers are needing non-conforming or jumbo loans. So adjustable rate mortgage should probably be a great option for them. We also have, the demand in the marketplace and the price growth has really affected all segments of the market, including renters. There's a shortage of rental property around town, and rental rates have gone up dramatically in the last few months. And gosh, we've even seen people that might have been able to buy a home a year or two priced out coming to us in the brokerage. Jazz, how are our agents dealing with that?
There were a housing shortage. Now we are able to put people in homes. So we want to be able to make sure that we are proposing the opportunity to our clients that if you are not sure, let's put that opportunity on the plate for you to be able to purchase. And so the rental rates are high. And if you look at that, you can see it is very comparable to a mortgage now.
That's right.
And so when you're talking about some of the different loan programs that are being offered, when speaking with our agents, saying, listen, let's go ahead and when we're doing our complimentary buyer consultation, make sure that we're proposing some of those opportunities as well, and making sure that we're not negating those opportunities, to our buyers as well.
Well, there's a really great option if your loan is under that conforming limit. It's called a temporary buy down. So we weren't doing these the last few years because fixed rates were 2-3%, right? And so we've seen a significant increase in our permanent rate over the life of the loan. You can still get a temporary buy down. A lot of borrowers don't know this. Sellers, I think it's a good tool to offer that on a listing and say, hey, we'll help the buyer buy the rate down temporarily for the first 2 years. And your interest rate the first year is 2% lower than the note rate. The second year, it's 1% lower. And then the third year, it starts your note rate from years 3 to 30. So it's a fixed rate loan. It's just temporarily bought down. And that can help alleviate the payment the first 1 or 2 years. Maybe there's a significant other that's going to have a second income, but we don't have that income yet. So the income in the family might be going up, and they just need some payment relief in years 1 or 2. And I think that's a great option for folks to consider.
And to be clear, we were chatting about that during the break, and you brought that up, and I said, remind me of how that works, because back in the day, when I worked for builders and you worked for builders, we're going 15, 20 years ago, we had 2-1 buy downs, and we used to talk that talk all the time, right?
Yeah.
And I had John refresh me. I said, how does that work again? Because we haven't talked about it in
That's
years.
right. Yeah.
But the thing to know about that, and you touched on it, but it's that has to be paid for by the seller. It would look like a seller contribution toward closing costs on a contract, and that could always be added to the price of a house as long as it factors in with appraisal. But that's an interesting tool that we might see become more and more popular.
2-1 buy down, very popular. Gosh, when I started in the business, interest rates were in the 14.5% range, and a 2-1 buy down seemed like something that cushioned the blow. And then when rates are in the 5% range, I mean, that's a dramatic reduction. And I think it's about 2.25% cost to do a 2-1 buy down.
That's right.
Somewhere around there. So that's certainly a great tool.
14% interest rates makes 5.5% interest rates sound
It's a
very
bargain.
normal
That's
and
right.
very
It's a bargain.
And that's the reality is the 5 and 6s is where we've always seen it as being, that's a normal, realistic
right.
market. 3% was not necessarily a normal market. So this is the kind of world that we need to get more comfortable with. And it's a long ways away from, when we had
That's
to figure
right.
out a way of doing all this at 10 to 15%.
Yeah, we're smack in the middle of historic norms, but a lot of, in particular, a lot of our younger home buyers have never known or seen anything but 3 or 4%, and are just thinking these rates are ridiculous. They're ridiculous.
Yes.
Well, they're pretty normal. It's okay, and gosh, when your home's going up 10, 15, 20% a year. It cushions the impact of paying, a little bit more interest. And of course, probably increases the likelihood that they'll be able to itemize their deductions and utilize that interest and along with their property taxes, instead of having to just take a standard deduction, maybe let Uncle Sam help them pay for their home a little bit.
That's right,
So,
for sure.
excellent. So in talking about the change in the marketplace and people that thought they might just need to rent because prices and rates have gone up just a little bit, I think we've had buyers that have found that even though they went in thinking that they might lease, once they kind of did the math and realized, well, heck, my rent's going to go up $100 a month every year or more, but my principal and interest, unless I do adjustable rate, my principal and interest are static. They're going to remain the same. So within a year or two, I might be at the exact same place, except, now my home has gone up $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 year over year. So you might be looking at a $100 or $200 a month decision to commit to a purchase, but the impact of that, if you choose renting over owning, might be foregoing $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 in market appreciation and loss of potential wealth accumulation. So,
Yeah, no, there's a lot of good reasons to buy rather than rent or lease. There's still, it makes sense for some people to lease for certain reasons. Maybe they're
Of
going to be
course.
here for a short period of time, or
That's
they
right.
have some credit issues that they have to take care of. The one thing I want to add to that, only because I have a rental property or two, I want to speak kind of just from a landlord's perspective for a second, and that is that I don't want people to think that that these rental properties are going up so fast because landlords are greedy. That might be the case in some situations, but I can tell you from personal experience that property taxes have also doubled along with property values.
That's right.
And so in order to keep up with that, that's really what's driving the rental increases as well. But you're right, it's real. I mean, it's easily $100 or $200 a month increase that people are having to eat per year.
Well, think about it. $100,000 gain in the market is at a tax rate of 2.5%, is $2,500 a year in additional taxes to the owner. That's
There's your
$200 a month.
Right.
And that's just keeping the investor's yield, the owner's yield constant.
Same, right.
That's just
Right.
not taking a reduction.
Right.
So I think that's a great point that you made there.
And you've also got insurance costs that factor in.
That's right.
Right.
Insurance
Yeah.
and taxes. Yeah,
And from the landlord's perspective, it's been, we've noticed a trend where leases have been only locked in at a 12-month versus like home rentals, they're very hesitant to lock in at a 24, 36-month at that rate
Right.
because we don't know what the taxes are going to be the following
Right.
year or the year after that.
Right.
And so versus a loan where you can lock it in, or buy down or use the ARM for 10 years,
Right.
the adjustable rate loan. And then you have and you can budget what your mortgage is going to be at that rate. So it's a little bit different. But then again, there are circumstances where, it can be contingent upon the buyer or client that's, getting into this situation.
Right. Something that John said just a second ago reminded me of something that we should probably say today. We should have an insurance professional here because none of us are, and I'm certainly not. But we had an insurance professional come speak at one of our brokerage sales meetings a couple of weeks ago. And he said something really important, and that is that everybody who owns real estate should be having a conversation with their homeowner's insurance provider right now, because there are a lot of people out there who are currently way underinsured, and in worst case scenarios that could leave you holding the bag by $100, $200, several $100,000.
That's right.
I personally contacted my company, my home insurance company provider, and they sent me a form that I was to fill out on properties that I own. And it's kind of a hard pill to swallow. The last thing you want to do is ask somebody to pay a higher insurance premium, but it's the reality that we're in right now. And I'm actually surprised that these insurance providers are not necessarily calling all of their clients. Mine didn't call me, but
Mine did, and my policy actually automatically increases. They notify you that it has done that, but they calculate what the cost of rebuilding
Replacement, yeah.
would be. And there was also a 20% automatic increase on it, and so we sat down and talked about it. It was automatically doing, but then they called me and said, we need to talk about this because it's substantial.
right,
The home prices have increased by
Right.
substantial amounts.
right. At the end of
And
the day,
cost,
these are
and cost of construction has increased. Cost of lumber has gone
Good
up.
point.
for real.
Cost of appliances, cost of roofing, cost of
Right.
all of that has gone up. So that factors into not just what your home might be worth as a resale, but what would it be worth if they had to rebuild it if it burned down?
That's right.
So
Right.
that's a really good point.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, I want to take a moment and again thank our sponsor, D.R. Horton Homes, for
Thank you
giving
for
us this
having me.
wonderful model to film our show in today. And gosh, Demetria, y'all are here in Southwest Georgetown, but this is really just kind of the edge of where new construction begins now. I mean, going to the northwest, there's not really much happening in Cedar Park, a little bit on the north end of Leander, and then it's Liberty Hill, Georgetown. It's Taylor, Hutto, Gerald, Bertram. It's Kyle. There's a little bit of Buda left, but I mean, we're out here really on the edge of where the metropolitan area is kind of extended to. So this is kind of close in. As we look at the increase in prices and how people can afford homes, really their choices are, well, I can blow my budget and just pay more. I could look for a home that is in a lesser condition than I'd prefer to own. Or I can look at my location and go further out. Now, obviously, you go far enough in either direction away from the city, and prices get significantly more affordable. But it's led to a lot of growth in the suburban areas. And gosh, I bet even there at the title company, David, y'all are seeing more orders for counties surrounding Travis,
are.
or at addresses that are a little bit more on the periphery.
We are, definitely, it's happening. You
Yeah.
know, it's just where is there land that you can build on?
Yeah.
And then where is that the pressure on the demand pressure on the supply is a little less.
At least as it relates to the northern side, where are some of the other areas that y'all are building to help serve the demand out here in the
We've got some
suburbs?
great communities out this direction. We have a brand new neighborhood that's opening up this weekend called Rosenbush. That is going to be Leander School District, a little north of like Mason Hills. And then we have Bar W Ranch, which is another very highly sought after community that's on the Ronald Reagan corridor as well. And then we also have Riverview, which is going to be opening up a new section in Georgetown. And there's some very beautiful views in that community, and it's along the San Gabriel River. So that one will be,
Outstanding.
I think, exceptional when it opens up as well. So, and then we also have Georgetown. We have a more affordable community called Parks at West Haven that's not very far away as well. So
Nice.
we've got some great opportunity in the northern area
Yeah,
and
you,
south
you
too.
said more affordable. Give us an idea of approximate price points.
So they're going to be in that high 3s to mid
Okay.
4s.
Okay, so you can still get in under
yes,
4.
You
Yeah.
can.
Well,
yes.
and we're talking a couple $100,000 below the average sales price. So
Right.
it's one of the things that we certainly respect about D.R. Horton is they've continued to build home product that people can afford and move into and,
Yes.
and enjoy, in communities that make sense.
Yes, some really, really great communities.
In an area that was America's #1 fastest growing growth rate community was Georgetown last year.
It really was, yes. Leander as well. Both Georgetown and Leander were both really great ones.
So what are some of the other areas that that y'all have seen or expect more future growth in? And are there any surprises in any of that?
Well, you mentioned, everything east of I-35, everyone used to think was not going to be that fast of growth, but now with Samsung doing their plant in Taylor and then Tesla doing what they've done, I don't follow those property values as closely, but I just know the activity, the number of sales has really increased going further east, which wasn't that long ago, which it was not as much of a.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even north and west from here, we mentioned we're in Liberty Hill School District here. I do a lot of work with a custom builder that has traditionally focused on Liberty Hill. And there's really not a whole lot of land left here now, which sounds crazy to say. So we're going west towards Bertram. And I've seen, I can't disclose prices yet, but it's amazing the growth and the appreciation that areas such as Bertram, Florence, Gerald, which we mentioned earlier, are
It's only a
having.
matter of time before they're in Briggs.
Yeah,
Yep.
Yeah, so-
Grace is
no,
the next best
Yeah.
for
place.
sure,
Yeah.
for sure.
Florence. Florence has, there are some things happening around there on the commercial and mixed use front coming to that area. So that had been just kind of a small town community for a while. I think that there's going to be some transformation there, not unlike the growth that we've seen in Gerald in the last couple of years.
Yes.
That Sonterra community was one of the #1 selling communities for a few years in a row because it was a place where there were affordable homes. So, so look to, if you're looking for where you can find new homes today, it's Liberty Hill, Georgetown, Jarrell, Taylor, Kyle Buda, far southeast Austin, Manor. There's some opportunities there as well. And the idea of getting to a location where you can still afford a home, build some equity, and then maybe you get to the geography you want to be in 5 years or 7 years.
Or the
after.
geography grows to where your access grows
That's
to where
right.
the geography fits.
Yeah.
I was even thinking, just going down 130, you get down to Luling. And some of those other communities further down there, there's our new subdivisions going in down there.
Yes.
I almost mentioned Burnett a few minutes ago because people have asked me about Burnett, and I've sold some properties in Burnett, and it really has been a different submarket. But as soon as this becomes big and bigger, all of a sudden Burnett's going to be closer in.
right.
So it's
Yes.
same to be said with Luling, and it's urban sprawl.
It's,
Yeah.
it is, we're the Austin real estate experts, but we talk about all things Central Texas. And it's always a pleasure talking about these things with such a fine group of people. It's been a lot of fun today. We covered a lot of ground. Look forward to being back with y'all again real soon. We'd love to have y'all back with us again next Sunday. Thank you for joining us.